having that win against Simon Fraser, I think it really uplifted our spirits a little bit after coming off of last week, and I think it just gives us some great momentum going into this week.
Yeah, talk about that win a little more in terms of getting an overtime win. It's just different than one that you win in regulation. So much more dramatic, and it's got to be a little bit more rewarding to win a game that way.
Yeah, definitely. Something I've noticed with this team is a lot of the time in overtime we really step it up. Just that extra little edge of intensity. It's just always so strong in our overtimes, and we've gotten some great results out of it. It's nice to see the win, especially 2.5 minutes in. Just great work.
Talk about the role that you play on the team, playing primarily as an outside back on the defensive unit. What it's been like on the defensive unit, and a little bit about your role.
Well, as an outside back, basically, obviously it's a defensive position, but also getting in on the attack. So just running that line, making those connections, 1-2 passes up the line, trying to get those crosses off.
And second year in the program for you, you came in during the COVID year, of course, having the fall season canceled last year, but you got some games under your belt last spring with the team. How did that kind of help you adjust to the college level?
Well, honestly, I think the biggest adjustment for the college level was our first GNAT game, because that was a pretty big awakening into what's expected of us in this league. But last year, I think playing up against NNU, which is who we're playing Thursday, was a really great experience, especially just determining how the pace of play and what is expected of us in terms of fitness and strength, and just developing that last season.
Talk about some of the depth on the back line. I mean, you guys have had shown that multiple players can step into different roles. Allie Finley came in, had a nice game at center back. Vendela Anderson and Haley Gertz have been so good there all year long. Yourself, Lexi, Kylie on the outside. Talk about how much depth you guys have defensively.
Yeah, we really do have a lot of depth in the back line, which is really nice to see in a team like this. For our center backs, I would say that it's just been great getting to know how each individual center back plays, and adjusting how I play with them, and just having that experience of having played with them for more than a year now is really giving me that connection between what they want me to do on the sideline, and where to position myself to best support them. And then as the outside backs, honestly, I love Kylie and Cass. They are some of the most talented outside backs that I've ever played with, and it's just an honor to be able to compete alongside and support them.
Thursday's game is massive for us. The team knows that. We're tied on points right now with NNU. We know that they're a team that we'll be competing with for GNAT playoff spot. So we obviously had a great win on Saturday, rebounding from a tough game Thursday against Western Washington by beating Simon in overtime. The mood of the team really was lifted well. Anytime you get an overtime win, it's obviously a huge morale booster to be on the end of that. I think our team also takes a lot of strength from our 3 overtime performances this year against Western Oregon, at Mary as well. We ended with draws in those matches, but to finally get a win, particularly so quickly into overtime, I think really is a big boost for the team.
Talk about one of your players who stepped up lately, Sydney Wate, playing on the outside back position. We talked to her a little bit about how much depth you guys have defensively. She's just kind of one of the latest players, even Allie Finley stepping in at center back. But talk about Sydney's performance so far.
Really proud of Sydney this year. She started not in the same role that she's in right now. She had to really fight and scrap to earn minutes. You look at some of the beginning games of the season, she was playing around 10-15 minutes a game, to now giving us solid 90 minutes in games. I think she played 90 against Western Oregon. She played almost a full 90 against Simon. And so I'm really proud of her for her response to early season disappointment, putting in the extra work to get on the field. She's very scrappy, difficult to beat in 1v1s, and she's really just stepping up for the team right now. You mentioned Allie Finley as well coming into it. We lost Ashley Tiffin at the beginning of the season, which was difficult for the back line. She was a great defender there. And since then, the mentality has really just been for players to step up. Lexi has been in and out of that position. Same with Cass, Kylie. You mentioned Allie already, Vendela, Kitty Finley as well. So we've had a lot of players playing on the back line, and right now we're really happy with the consistency that we saw from the Simon Fraser game.
You mentioned the morale boost from the Simon game, winning that match in overtime. You could see it on the faces of the players. You look at some of the photos that were taken, you look at some of the video from that celebration, you could just see how much that win meant. And why is that big in the scheme of the whole season?
Yeah, that was a game that, we outplayed Simon. I felt like in that game we outshot them. We were disappointed to concede. And just continuing to fight, I think the team just really believed that they were going to win that game, no matter how they got it done. And so to have that happen, it comes as a relief, but also I think it really has shown the team we are a good team in this conference. We can compete. We knew that Simon going into the game was ranked 3rd in the conference, and so that was a big 3 points for us. And I think the team really takes a lot of strength from that game, the way that we performed, how solid we were for a majority of the match, and look to bring that positive momentum and spirit into this week's games.
Second half of league play starts Saturday with Seattle Pacific. Of course, right now all the focus though is on Thursday, Northwest Nazarene, as you mentioned. Does it help that you got to see them twice in the spring? Is that give you anything, or is it a new team this fall?
It's new teams for both of us, but it definitely helps. We got our butts kicked by them in the spring. We lost 4-0 both matches. So I know all of our returning players, have had this date circled on their calendar, because I think we're a new team compared to where we were, in March and April of last year when we played them for the first time. So we're definitely looking forward to welcoming them to Billings. Big game on Thursday, but I do think the performances against them in the spring have motivated us throughout the summer, and we're ready to go.